Hi, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd give you an update on where we're at on one of our latest projects, where we've demolished a bungalow and building a 5-bedroom house. So here we are on site. We've had a good few days, managed to get the foundations all dug on this single plot. We've got all the steel work in, there's our leveling pegs, and the concrete is going to sit between this mesh. So we've got 325 millimeters of concrete going in there, and then concrete spacers are 75 millimeters. So the concrete is going to be completely surrounded, really strong. It allows us to put less concrete in than doing a trench fill, so it can save us a bit of money. Save us a lot of digging out all the mud as well. Much safer, so we haven't got the risk of like trenches collapsing. But yeah, there's all the foundation, all really nice and clean. And my lads there just bringing the toilet in at the back. Just had that dropped off today. And we've got a bit of soil that we dug out there, ready to put in the back garden once we're finished, all nice and clean. Bricks are here already, and the power, which is on my back shoulder, is going on next week. So we'll have electric on site, and we're just waiting for the concrete pump lorry to come. And we've got 30 cubic meters of concrete going to be poured today. Hopefully be enough. If not, we can get a little bit more, because 3 of those meters will be on a part load. So if we need another 1 or 2 meters, we can get 4 or 5 meters, not a problem. So yeah, I'll give you an update as soon as the concrete lorry arrives. So one of the things we've been doing this week is the foundations, and you can see them there. So I've had a really great week. The weather's been fantastic. It's been like sort of 30 degrees every day, so perfect brick lane weather. One of the first things we've had to get done is the electric supply. So we've got our 3-phase electric on. We're just waiting for our meter. It's going to be fitted hopefully next week. That means we've then got power on site. At the minute we're using a petrol mixer, but we prefer to use electric. It's quiet, and the reason for that is we've got a house next door, you know, and if we want to work here weekends, you know, make the most of the weather, for example. The last thing we really want to do is upset them with a petrol or diesel mixer running most of the time. So we like to use electric mixer. We've got here for, you know, if we want to charge up tools as well. So that's going to be done next week. At the minute, the Western Power have been here working this week, where they did the road closure. So as you can see, the road closure is still in force, and you can see here that they've put the ducting in. So they've got a a sort of 6-inch duct going from there, and it goes from that pole over there. So at the minute we had overhead electric, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it into the ground. So we don't really want an overhead cable coming to new property. And this was the old pole. So you can see at the minute it sits in the middle of the garage, which is not ideal, but it will be gone soon. And one of the hold-ups we have got is open reach. Hopefully it'll be sorted in the next week or two. But their equipment, which is there, you see it goes all the way at the pole, that is still on the pole. So that the power's been cut off, but until we get rid of open reach, we can't get rid of the pole. And instead of stopping work, you can see we've dug out where the cable came down the pole, across there, we dug out the footing, and we've just hung it about on this fence out of the way. So it's not in the way at the minute. You know, we can work, it's not ideal, but it's not going to hold us up. That's the main thing. And what we can do is we can go and build the whole house, and then we'll drop the scaffold, and then we'll go onto the garage, and we can get the first lift done. And the only thing we won't be able to do is get the trusses on. But hopefully, you know, we've got 5, 6, 7 weeks to get the main house structure done, and then basically that'll be out of the way anyway. But you know, as a developer, you've got to learn how to overcome problems. You've got to make the most of your time. You've got to do what you can do, and you've got to work around what's there. Because you know, with utility companies, it's a bit of a lottery. You know, hopefully they'll all turn up on time and do what they say they're going to do. But like with OpenReach, although it's a telephone company, you try and ring them, you can't find a phone number for them. They ring you, and then when you ring the company back, it just says, oh, we'll call you if there's a problem. So really hard to deal with. Generally, you'll have a guy, you'll have a person of contact when you're doing bigger developments, and that's pretty good because you do have a point of contact. But when you're doing stuff like alterations and that, it can be a bit of a problem. It goes into the system, and the system does its stuff rather than dealing with a person. So that can be a real challenge when you're on some of these sites. Okay, so this week we've basically concreted all the foundations. So that was great. Again, we had good weather, no ground issues. We had a little bit of soft soil just on the front of that garage. There was some bricks in there, so it could have been an old soak away. Building inspector seemed to think that it could have just been a bit of water runoff. You know, when it rains on the road, it keeps running off, it washes in silt, and that soil was always going to be a little bit softer, even though we haven't had any rain for like months here really. But anyway, went a little bit deeper on there just to sort of safeguard that, and that was our own decision. The building control inspector didn't make us go deeper. You know, from experience, when we're digging this stuff out, you know, we know whether to sort of say, well, look, let's just go a little bit deeper, let's put a bit of extra concrete in, let's over-engineer it. We don't want any problems later on, you know, because we are responsible for the first 2 years of the warranty, and then the warranty company takes over. But, you know, if you don't do your foundations right, you know, do you do anything else right? So for us, we'll always over-engineer them. I mean, we put this steel mesh in, so we've got a little bit left over that we're going to use in the garage floor. But you know, using 8mm steel mesh reinforcing in the foundations, and again, it's over-engineered. We just like to do that, even if the building control didn't require it. You know, for £750 to £1,000 worth of steel, we just think it's a no-brainer to put that in the foundations. And it's just our peace of mind saying, yeah, those foundations are way stronger even than what the structural engineer has designed them for. Probably wouldn't be able to do it on a scheme of, you know, mass scale, but certainly on 1 to 5 plots we'll do that, just at our cost and just as peace of mind. So this week we used the boom pump. Now the boom pump cost us 700 quid, worth every penny. I know some people think it's a big expense, but we didn't start concrete until 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and we were done by about 4:15. So we had 25 cubic meters in the boom pump. I think it was like 4 lorries. You know, it's effortless. A friend of ours who came on one of my retreats, Pat, he came over and give us a hand. He's been in developments for years, but he just, you know, he was coming over this way and he said, do you want a hand? So it was good to have Pat helping us, working with my sons. Got to chat a bit more about business and developments. So it's always good to catch up with the people that, you know, sort of come through the mentoring and attend the retreats. So yeah, concrete went in no problem. Building inspector was happy. Warranty guy was really happy. He couldn't believe how clean the foundations were. And I said, well, look, this is just how we do them. You know, it's either right or it's wrong. We don't really like to cut corners, or that will do. We'd rather get in there with a shovel and keep them really clean, and just start off right. You know, and also, you know, because we teach people this stuff, you know, people want to see how it's done properly. So that's how we like to lead. And then what we've done is I decided to get the trowel out and lay some blocks and bricks. It's been a while. I don't normally do it anymore. Normally have brickies come and do it for me. It's leverage. You know, my mentor taught me to leverage. He said if you want to earn more money, you've got to leverage. But this particular house, my son's wanted me to build it with him. So yeah, I did get my trowel out this week. And like I say, it's been fantastic weather. And I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed just getting back on the trail. I did miss the site work years ago, but it did change because site agents just became a bit different, health and safety became a bit different, and I sort of stopped enjoying it, just keep, you know, building house after house after house. So yeah, but it's been nice to get the tools out. My sons have been laying bricks. One of them has laid a few bricks before, the other one hasn't, but they got on really well, and I was really impressed with their work. It's as good as any bricklayer who's been laying bricks 20-25 years, obviously not as fast, but at the end of the day, it's about getting it right. Speed comes with time. You know, if you cut corners and you don't do stuff of a good standard, you'll just get quicker and still do stuff cutting corners and not a good standard. So it just pays to take that time, get it right, and your speed will come. But it's been great to pass those skills on to my boys. They really enjoyed it. It's been great to see them doing something. I mean, I could see it in them this week. I could see them where they really enjoyed their work this week, and they do most weeks, but I think just this week they was learning some new skills. And you know, I'd be like, you'd set the lines up, they'd be running in, and yeah, they've done a great job. So let's just show you around. So we've got 325mm of concrete in the footings, wide strip, so we go quite wide on these. I don't know if you'll see down here, but my engineer, he comes and sets these out, and there's like little nails right in the corner, so he comes and puts them in with his GPS, and it means that when we come to set out, we know they're bang on. I mean, we do check, we do make sure that they're okay, but you know, it just saves us a lot of time trying to set out, trying to get it square, trying to work out where the corners are, and he'll put these pins on every corner. We've got a level peg which is behind the mud at the bottom, and we take all of our levels from that peg and cross-reference them onto the foundations, the dig depth, damp proof course level, which is where we're at the moment, and we use that as a guidance. What we normally do is we'll normally put another peg somewhere in the site just in case that one gets knocked over, but it just means from then on everything is referenced back to that peg for level. So at the minute it seems quite high, it seems like we're at the ground quite a lot. It's classed as a flood risk area. I mean, the chances of flooding is zero because we've got a double flood barrier, but we are basically at sea level, so you know, as you can see, it's pretty flat where we live out here in Lincolnshire. But this makes things easy for us because we've got to run drainage down here, so you know, straight away our trench is already dug for things like soakaway pipes where they'll go down there. Soakaways at the back of the plot, we've already put those in. There is one under the mud, and then there's another one in that far corner, so we think ahead, so they're already in. We'll run our drainage pipes down there to connect up to that. We've got our holes out here that we've left ready for drainage. So you can see these are all in different places. This is where the utility door is going to go. And my son's going to come in next week and put the drainage in. And the drainage will go out to the front. We're going to put a septic tank in there and then sort of like attenuation system where the water's allowed to just soak away gradually over time. Then they're going to stone up all the floors, so they're going to do that. We've got about 60 tonne of stone coming. What we'll do is once all the drainage is done, we'll stone up all the floors. We'll stone up right the way around the outside of the plot, stone up where the patio is. Now we like to do that at this stage so that it has time to settle. You know, we don't really like building up 1 or 2 foot of ground, you know, 6 weeks before we're about to finish a house and hand over. We like to put the mud in, drive all over it, let it settle down, get all the stone in, get it wet, whacker it, you know, walk all on it loads of times, and give it a, you know, good 3 or 4 months to just settle in. We'll do all the driveway so that when the vans come in and out, they're driving on it, compacting it, the rain, and then we'll just top it up with a couple of inches before we, you know, finish off that driveway, however we're doing it. And in this case, it's gravel. But we just don't like making up ground, you know, a week before we're going to put the slabs down, because that's when you start and get sinkage. And you see it all on the new sites. Some people like to build all the shells, and then while they're doing a little bit inside, they'll come outside and do all the externals. We like to get all the groundworks done up to damp proof course, all the oversight done, all the stone in, get rid of all the rubbish, you know, almost get the garden sort of semi-leveled, and then just let that settle over time. And we'll just do a light rotivation before we put the turf down and then level it. It's a far better way of doing it, and we've never had any problems with, you know, sinkage or anything like that. Like I say, it's each to their own. That's just the way we like to do it. And you can see from here, you know, it looks like we've got a lot of ground to make up, but you know, it's probably about 9 inches of stone, and we'll do that in a couple of layers. So we'll put a thin layer down first, level all that off, compact that, and then we'll put another layer on top of that and compact it again. So we'll build that up, and then in the floors, again, it looks quite a lot, but that block there is pretty much level with the mud. So there's only like a little edge around there to fill with stone. And then again, we've probably got about 9 inches of stone in here. So it says 6 on the building control, but we'll have 9. But you know, better to put too much in than not enough. We got rid of a grab lorry load of concrete. So where the bungalow was, there was an old foundation, and although we'd cleared the plot, that foundation was still in place, just because we didn't have the room to move everything around and store all the concrete. But we've dug all that out. It was there, and we've got rid of it. So there's quite some big chunks of concrete, and then when we washed the boom pump out, there was a bit of concrete that mixed in with that. But we've got a really good grab lorry driver called Hank, and you know, nothing's a problem with him. So he was picking up the big lumps, dropping them, which was cracking all the concrete that glued together from washing out the boom pump, and he managed to clear all that in a sort of couple of loads. So we've got lots of room now on site, all the bricks, and we've got some blocks at the front, but once we get everything stoned up, we'll then got another lorry load of blocks. We'll go and get sort of 16 tonne of sand, which will do us the whole house, and that'll be just tipped down here. We've got room to tip our stone, and yeah, we'll keep the site tidy as we go. But I'm not here next week. I'm training and mentoring for the whole week. So lots of property developers who want to learn this stuff, so I spend 3 days teaching them, and then I've got mentoring days for people that want to get sort of handheld through this stuff over a 12-month period. You know, the idea is to help them find their site, get it through planning, get it funded, help them get the funding, and then get on site. And if they want to continue longer, you know, I'll handhold them through the whole build to make sure they don't make any mistakes, and to get it built on time and on budget. And if that's something that interests you, then there are links in the comments below, in the description below, and you know, check them out. We've got online training if you want to just learn from your laptop, and again, it's self-paced, so you can watch it as many times as you want. If you want to come to the live events, again, there's a link in there. You can find out a bit about what you'll learn. We break it down into an 8-step process, and most of that steps has happened all before this. We're literally on step 8, where we've started the build. So it says 7 steps before this about funding, planning, finding the land, like sites like this. So check that out. But I'm going to be there. My sons are going to be here working all week. They're going to send me some videos and keep me updated. So yeah, please like and subscribe, and then we'll get the next video out to you very shortly.